Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. Thank you for joining me today. The whole purpose of our channel is to keep you updated on different cases that go on out there so you know what could possibly go wrong in this world that we need to be careful of. Here's the truth. Doesn't matter how careful you are, bad things can still happen. But the more you're aware, the more you can be prepared on those red flags that we should pay attention to. In today's episode, I'm gonna share with you one of those stories like, who would have thought this would go that wrong? Today we cover the case against Michael Barisone. Michael has been indicted on charges related to the shooting at his Hawthorne Hill dressage facility in Long Valley, New Jersey. The trial actually began this morning, March 28th, so I thought I would cover and kind of sum up what's going on. And if this sounds like something that you guys want to follow more, make sure that you smash that subscribe button. That way I know you've found some value in this and I can make sure to keep coverage of this particular case. We're going to go ahead and dive into this case. You see, Michael Barisone, well known in the equestrian world of horse riding, he is indicted on 2 counts of attempted murder, crimes of the first degree, and 2 counts of possession of a weapon for an unlawful purpose. And this is crimes of the second degree. The trial has begun today, and so I'm going to update you more as to what this is. So on August 7th of 2019, police were dispatched to 411 West Mill Road on a reports of shots fired. Washington Township Police responded and found amateur dressage rider Lauren Kanarek with multiple gunshot wounds to the torso. Now, Barisone and Kanarek's boyfriend, Rob Goodwin, were also on the scene and a handgun was recovered. Now, according to the prosecutor's office press release, the investigation revealed that Barison allegedly fired the gun during the incident. Lauren obviously was rushed to the hospital. She did survive her injuries, but she did undergo an emergency surgery, but luckily she did survive the shooting. Kanarek, she shares a statement to the Chronicle. She says, "I have had a very long and difficult recovery from the gunshot wounds Mr. Barisone fired into my chest at point blank range. However, after 4 long months, I was finally able to get back on a horse this week. It was painful, but I'm hoping it will get better every day." Now, this statement was back in December of 2019. This was about 4 months, 4 to 5 months after the shooting. She continues, "What has been even more painful is reading some of the comments about me and what happened on August 7th. There have been not only outright lies, but threats to my dressage career." Now, dressage, this is the art of riding and training a horse in a manner that develops obedience, flexibility, and balance. She says, "Mr. Barisone and I had a mutually beneficial professional relationships, but perhaps to others close to him, not so much." She says, "I look forward to the continued investigation by law enforcement into the event of August 7th and the investigation by the U.S. Equestrian Federation into those who have threatened my dressage career." Now, Barisone, at this time in 2019, he was 54 years old. He was denied bail after being arrested. He was a top Grand Prix dressage rider. He was the reserve rider for the U.S. dressage team for the 2008 Olympic Games. The 52-acre property on 411 West Mill has been sold. He has pled not guilty, stating that this was in self-defense that he shot her. Now, Lauren, she was a student of his and lived as a renter in his home. So she was renting a part of his home, but she started also sharing like Facebook posts about how she was scared for her life leading up to this. And this was his farm that he lived in. It was a New Jersey farm. It was his farm. and she was a renter there. And he's the owner of a Long Valley Equestrian Center, and he's accused of shooting his trainee, Lauren Kanarek, twice in the chest. And this is following months of disputes between the two, and he attempted to shoot her fiancé. Kanarek and her fiancé, Rob Goodwin, lived in a house on Barisone's farm at the time of the shooting. Officials have said that the couple was engaged in a landlord-tenant dispute with Barison, who had agreed to let Kanarek live at the farm while she trained under Barisone. But the relationship kind of went sour, leading to the August 7, 2019 shooting. Now, at least 6 911 calls were placed from the farm in the week preceding the shooting. I'm gonna go ahead and play some of those 911 calls so you can hear for yourself what those calls that were leading up to this shooting sounded like. Exactly what was said on some of these 911 dispatch calls. Listen up.
914-361 with the address of your emergency.
Hi, Mari.
Yes.
411 West Mill Road for trespassers in the caller's horse barn. Go ahead, Michael.
Yes. Yeah, I own this place. I have some people who have been living on this place, and they were told to not be in the horse barn after 9 p.m., and they're in the horse barn. They're scumbags, and I want them warned. They have chased us out of our house, and I need this dealt with tonight.
All right, that was 411 West Mill Road, Washington Township,
sir.
At the horse barn.
Tell me exactly what happened.
There is a client. We have a horse stable, and I asked her to go home for the evening, and she won't leave the barn, and she's screaming at me, disturbing the peace for the second time in 3 days.
Okay, my partner, send help. Just stay on the line. I need some more information from you, okay?
Thank you.
Stay on the line with me.
My name is Lauren.
Your last name?
Okay, hold on. Kanarek, sorry. So tonight I called because last night, they're actually please start from the proper place. Today, all in here, we talked to them, everything was fine. It was over like a Facebook post, this crazy situation going on, very complicated. But last night, at 3:15 in the morning, there was like a very, very suspicious-looking vehicle that came in to the driveway, going very slowly, with a large SUV, and it was going very slowly. I texted the barn owner.
Are you calling about the suspicious vehicle now?
Yes, it just came back.
Okay, hold on. Were weapons involved or mentioned?
No, all that happened was this blacked out SUV with like some guy smoking a cigarette in the front who I've never seen before, except for last night at 3:15 in the morning, and we overheard them talking about like getting guys to like hurt us, kill us, whatever. We told this to the officers this afternoon, and they know how we have this information and everything.
Are you or anyone else in danger right now?
Say it again, am I what?
Are you or anyone else in danger right now?
We feel very much like we could be, seeing as though this happened the other night.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
These people are on our place. They have been living in our house in one of the apartment units. They are clients here at our horse stable. This situation is getting worse and worse and worse. The police have been here twice in the last 3 days. They're nuts. They're stalking us. They're harassing us. Last night there was a Facebook post, which is what this woman does. She's
okay. So
anyway, the Facebook post says, "My split personalities are going to take over, and I am not control of what they do. We are in fear for our lives."
No, I understand, but what is going on right now? Are they
Nothing. That's why I'm calling you. I talked to a couple with my lawyer. He said, "Call them right away. Get something going."
Okay. Are they there now?
They're down at the house we own, which is a third of a mile from where we are. We're all holed up at the stable. We're under siege here. If they come up the driveway, I don't know what to do. This is not looking good. This is the third time, and I'm getting no relief.
No, I understand, sir.
I have a family.
No, I understand.
The Facebook post said, "Everyone should be worried. I'm not responsible for anything my other personalities do when they're threatened. I may hide in
okay, hold on. I'm going to just paraphrase. So everyone should be worried. I'm not responsible for my behaviors.
Anything my other personalities do when they're threatened. That's insane, and we are in fear for our lives from you.
I was told that my
My daughter's in a landlord-tenant dispute, and her lawyer got a call that she'd been shot.
And you're the father of who?
I'm the father. My daughter, has horses on a barn there, and she has a dispute with the barn owner.
Okay, what's her name?
Her name?
Yeah.
Her name is Lauren, Lauren, same last name as me, Kanarek.
Hi, this is Mary Haskins Gray. I'm at 411 West Mill Road where the shooting was yesterday.
Okay.
I'm sure you guys know everything that's been going on. I was told if I was scared or in fear of my life to call. We don't have an emergency yet, but Rob Goodwin and the father, Jonathan Kanarek, of Lauren's father, is up here. They just made verbal threats to us that we're pieces of they're going to take us down, that they're coming after Mary Haskins, which is me.
Okay,
they're coming after Justin Harden, and they're going to go after
hold on, ma'am, just 1 second.
You heard the 911 calls that occurred between Lauren, even Lauren's dad called 911 about this whole situation. And Barison, he tells dispatch during an August 4th call, "I'm taking my life back." Sounds like he kind of lost it. And the shooting happened at a home on the dressage farm in the early afternoon. Kanarek and Barison were having a discussion outside of a home on the property when Barison shot her in the chest. Barison is accused of attempting to shoot Goodwin but missed. Goodwin then tackled Barison, breaking his arm in the process. As he was being arrested, he says, "I had a good life." Basically referring to before they moved in, before they basically came into his life. Kanarek, she sustained serious injuries to her lung and she underwent multiple surgeries to repair the damage. Barison, he was a member of the 2008 Olympic equestrian team that competed in Beijing, and he coached a rider who won a bronze medal in the 2016 games in Rio de Janeiro. Kanarek has won medals at the national level. So she was an up-and-coming rider. She was an up-and-coming trainer. He was training her. Of course, lawyers on both sides, they have shared a protracted struggle between the two, with each side claiming harassment from the other. Lawyers for Barisone have said in court that Kanarek harassed him and his family daily, refusing to move out of his home when asked and making him fear for his safety. That's his side of the argument. In a civil suit filed by Kanarek, her lawyer said Barisone harassed her for months and shot at her unprovoked. Kanarek's lawyer says Michael Barisone shot my client point blank and intended to kill her. He should be convicted and put away for life. Now here's the truth. Shot 2 times in the chest, he was trying to kill her. He was trying to kill her. What the defense will have in reference to why he felt his life was in danger, that's his self-defense claim. We'll see how that plays out. But Barisone, he did reject a plea offer that would have resulted in a 10-year sentence, and now he faces up to 40 years if found guilty at trial. He didn't want to spend 10 years because he believed his life was in danger, allegedly. Barisone, he's been held in a Morris County Correctional Facility since the shooting in 2019. Now, this trial was supposed to go to trial in like 2020, but due to COVID-19, it was delayed. They have a lot of documentation, more than 31,000 Facebook posts, videos, and other pieces of evidence, as well as the pandemic shutdown of trials have slowed the case. In the process as well, in addition to the criminal charges, Kanarek has filed a civil suit against Barisone. Barisone has filed suit against the Washington Township Police Department, but a judge in Morris County later dismissed this lawsuit that Michael had filed, accusing Washington Township police officers of ignoring his fears that he had of his violent tenants. This was dismissed. This lawsuit that he filed against them, that won't be presented in court. And Barisone and Kanarek have filed Safe Sport claims against each other. Now, Safe Sport is the organization tasked with overseeing safety in Olympic level sports. Myself, I'm a coach to many kids, and I have to take this Safe Sport every other year in order to coach at our high school national championship. So I'm very familiar with Safe Sport and keeping their sport safe through the eyes of the Olympic Committee. Barison has been suspended by the United States Equestrian Federation pending the outcome of this case. Now, Kanarek has not been suspended, and it's unclear if she has competed in the months since she was shot. An Instagram account shows that she has remained active with the horses. Authorities say Barisone, a former Olympian, shot her twice in the chest during a violent confrontation. Now, you heard these 911 calls, and they show the tension rising on the 53-acre Morris County farm where Kanarek, an award-winning equestrian from Livingston, and Barisone, a coveted horse trainer and world-renowned dressage athlete, once had a friendly relationship and even shared the barn on West Mill Road. But that relationship has went to the far side and to the point of no return by the end of July. And Michael says in a July 31st call, "It's my place and these people have been living here and it's causing us hell. We used to live there, but we left because we were in fear of them." That's Barisone, talking about the relationship basically, and he says they're guests. Now, records have been released that show that police were at the posh horse stables in Long Valley at least 5 times before the shooting. Barison called dispatchers 4 times leading up to the shooting, and Kanarek called 911 at least once before. Now, Michael, in his calls to police, he accused Lauren of trespassing, not paying rent, and harassment. Police reports 4 incidents from July 31st, August 3rd, August 4th, August 5th, and August 7th were denied by Washington Township officials in response to an Open Public Records Act request. And you can hear the 911 calls, which are partially redacted, begin on July 31st. And this is a week before the shooting. In the first call, Michael tells the dispatcher that Kanarek and her fiancé, Rob Goodwin, are clients of their dressage training facility and have stayed in the house for months without paying rent. Now, if that's true, that's not good either. Does that mean if they pay their rent, she doesn't ever get shot? Regardless, he should not shoot her. He should not get that deep and try to take someone's life. I have yet to hear anything that it sounds like he feared for his life. But the case just started. There's going to be more that comes out. He said they are clients who have become a menace to us. These people are destroying our lives. These people are insane. Now, it's interesting because you can hear when I shared with you earlier, Lauren was offended by what people were saying. Well, if you were living there, trying to live there rent free, again, allegedly, that's his story, her story. But if she was trying to live there rent free, that's the first problem on her end. Again, none of this should lead up to shooting somebody no matter what. Was she a good tenant or was she not a good tenant? Now, he also claims he would get a restraining order that night if that meant the couple wouldn't come back at the barn. He says Kanarek and Goodwin have no lease and are not tenants of his private farm. Now, Michael again called on August 1st. Michael called 911 again on August 1st. He is telling dispatchers that Kanarek was disturbing the peace and squatting on the property. He said the 38-year-old woman was walking down the driveway while screaming with her father on the phone. He said this is a situation going from bad to worse. He calls police again the night of August 3rd, saying he feared for his life after reading a Facebook comment from Kanarek that said she is not responsible for anything my other personalities do when they're threatened. Lauren had several Facebook posts detailing the escalating fallout which have been removed from public view of her page. That's insane, and we are in fear of our lives, Michael said in the call while pleading for officers to arrive quickly. I have a family. About an hour, Barisone Kanarek called with her own safety concern. She was sharing that an SUV was moving slowly past the house where she was staying on the property. And you can hear her in that 911 call. She says it was a blacked out SUV with some guy smoking a cigarette in the front who I've never seen before. That's what she's telling dispatcher. Except for last night at 3:15 in the morning, and we overheard them talking about like getting guys to like hurt us, kill us, or whatever. I hope they can back that up, because I'm a struggle to believe that. You woke up at 3:15, what were they, standing right outside your window talking? That alone is weird. But if they can back that up, that would be proven in court. And the dispatcher says, are you or anyone else in danger right now? We feel very much that we could be. That was Lauren telling the dispatcher. On August 4th, the last call before the August 7th shooting, Barison can be heard arguing with Goodwin. A dispatcher asked if there are weapons involved in their dispute. Not so far. I'm taking my life back, Michael is heard saying in that 17-minute call. Barison also said Goodwin was looking at him with a menacing stare. Now, Barison allegedly shot Kanarek in close range in the chest and shot at Goodwin but missed. Now, Goodwin was able to wrestle Barison to the ground until police arrived. He faces up to 20 years in prison on each attempted murder charge. So that would be those 40 years. Barison, as I mentioned earlier, he's a world-renowned dressage athlete who represented the U.S. at the 2008 Beijing Olympics and was named Sportsman International Horseman of the Year in 2009. He's trained several other Olympians, including the U.S. bronze medalist in dressage at the 2016 Games in Rio, Brazil, and offered riding clinics around the country. Now, this is one of her Facebook posts that she put up there. I'm being bullied by a 6'3" man. Bullied to the point I'm afraid. It's very complicated. I'm not sure of what I can say here, but it seems as if Safe Sport was created for exactly this reason. That was a post that she put on her Facebook page August 2nd at 11:14. Here is another post by Lauren on August 2nd, and this was basically later on that night. She says, a certain known drunk has literally just informed me sleep with one eye open. Newsflash, I don't sleep, but I'll be on the lookout for any poorly aimed wine boxes. That's a knock at him, obviously. They have secret recordings, Facebook postings, and abuse complaints among the 31,000 pieces of evidence. You know, and of the 31,000 pieces of evidence, that's a lot of evidence. Over 19,000 documents came from Kanarek's social media profile. This is according to Michael's attorney, Edward Balinkas. You know, and so the defense attorney on day one of the trial that has begun this week, they're talking about mental torture, that the defendant went through mental torture because of Lauren and her fiancé. They're saying he had his breaking point. Literally, they're saying Michael Barisone had his breaking point. And that it was on August 7, 2019 when he had this breaking point. His defense attorney says that his mental health quickly deteriorated leading up to that day because of everything going on with this bickering, with this fighting, with this tenant landlord relationship, basically. And so he used a pink and black handgun and twice shot Lauren in the chest. And you can see in his day in court, he has lost a lot of weight since his arrest and looking at him in this video, he looks frail and withdrawn. You can see him crying. The judge kind of got to him, and he was wearing a white button-down shirt and yellow tie, and he used several tissues to wipe his face, to wipe his tears off of his face. And so his attorney, Edward Balinkas, is telling the jury that he was mentally tortured by Kanarek and Goodwin. His argument is that Michael called police a handful of times to report issues with the two tenants before shooting them. He's saying that Barison feared for his life and asked the responding officers to help in the days leading up to the shooting, but he says the pleas fell on deaf ears. And the prosecutors, they themselves were telling the jury, hey, you may hear things about Kanarek that you may not like about her misbehaving, but told them that is not a justification to get shot and nearly killed. I will agree with that. The supervising assistant prosecutor, Christopher Shellhorn, says, we are here because of the defendant's choice to get a gun. Barisone, he said, borrowed an unloaded gun from a client a few days before shooting and made the conscious effort to retrieve it and load it before he shot Kanarek. And Shellhorn, he says the evidence will show that although Barisone's actions may not have been premeditated, his obtaining the gun and using it was enough interference to prove his intent was to cause death. And Shellhorn also said the defendant was angry. He was furious and frustrated and upset. He was angry with Lauren and he was angry with Rob. He knew what he was doing was wrong when he went into that safe and loaded that gun. Balinkas, however, he described a former world-class dressage trainer who had made a name for himself after suffering a horrible childhood in which he was abused and sexually assaulted. He found solitude, he said, in the equestrian community and worked his way to the top of his field. But behind the scenes, Barisone was struggling with anxiety, delusions, and suicidal thoughts. That was according to Balinkas. He said that. At one time, he said Barisone tried to kill himself. Balinkas, again, this is Barisone's attorney, he is arguing insanity and self-defense and said it will be clear when two experts, a psychologist and a psychiatrist, take the stand in the coming weeks. According to Balinkas, he says Barisone had welcomed Kanarek to his farm and agreed to train her, but she was instead on a path to destroy his life. That's according to Balinkas. The lawyer described Kanarek and Goodwin as people who lied over and over again and had changed their stories several times after the shooting. Kanarek, Balinkas said, found pleasure in destroying Barisone's life through social media posts, describing him as a deadbeat criminal who did not pay his bills. She spoke often about guns and about going to war. This is the defense side of things. Balinkas also said evidence will show that Barisone was severely beaten by Kanarek and Goodwin before the shooting. Details that were not mentioned by either when police arrived at the scene. They also had their dog attack Barisone, who suffered multiple bite wounds. This is what the lawyer told the jury. This is what they're using in defense to say why it was justifiable for him to actually try to kill these two people. I truly believe he was trying to kill these people, because why would you shoot her 2 times dead in the chest? You didn't try to hurt her, you tried to take her life. Several witnesses took the stand on the first day of trial. And this includes Washington Township Police Officer John Werdenberg and Corporal Derek Hamer and Morris County Sheriff's Office crime scene detective Brian Bailey. And this trial is expected to last through mid-April. My friends, if you want some more of this trial, make sure you click on that subscribe button. That way I know you want me to continue sharing as this trial continues. I'm Manny Rodriguez with Deep True Crime. Thank you for joining me today, and we will continue this on. Have a great day. Peace.